Welcome guys, today we're working on the PoE2 loot filter, the big boy filter version. So as some of you might be aware, I've released a filter, the light filter, a couple of, pretty much months ago, more or less exactly a month ago. And it's been fine, people are using it, I've updated a couple of times, but now I want the real thing to be out there. Now, my PoE filter in PoE1 took a lot of effort to put together, so it's not something I can just easily migrate to. In fact, I didn't want to. I wanted to rewrite it and create kind of something very, very good in terms of quality, but still in many ways innovative, I suppose. Yeah, innovative is the right word there. Even if it's a filter, there's like a bunch of new ideas and tricks there that I don't have in PoE1. So yeah, that takes its time. We are currently aiming for a release date, and that is either 11th, 12th, or 13th. Most likely it will be the 13th of January, so exactly in a week. FiltrBlade is in internal testing. My current filter is internal testing. It's not quite done yet. We still have to do quite a few things, but it's mostly style and leveling that is still needing work. But yeah, that's what we'll be doing today. We'll be reviewing the filter, working on, well, everything. Now, it should be noted, today was also my first day of work after Christmas time, so I am understandably tired. So we'll be supplying ourselves this week with a lot of coffee, but I need to hypercharge this whole project so that we are done in time. Right, so what are you seeing right now on screen? This is the exile code. This is the domain language code from which the actual filter is then being generated. The first thing we'll try to do is we'll just try to rebuild this. So I just want to have a new version of the filter. It might not work because I've changed a few things. Let's see how it goes. All right, things seem to be working fine. So now let us launch PoE2. And today we'll be doing a lot of testing, style testing, adjustments, improving the basic style. There's a lot of the stuff necessary in order to make a filter good. So we'll be spending a lot of time on that. Release date for passive building for PoE2. I've heard it's also releasing next week. But I might be wrong here. Right, so what we'll start doing is we're just going to run any map with a breach. And we're just going to take a look how the filter works right now, how it currently looks like, and we'll just try to notice a few more things that we need to work on. And then try to, improve a couple of things. Okay, so there's a stake currency generic S. Why did this crash? Currency generic, because it did not rename those yet. S, A, B, C, D, E. In case you're wondering why I'm spelling the alphabet with the S in front, it's because those are the tiers. Let's see if this works now. Seems so. Alright, so let us run a map. Let's just dump this thing back in. Alright, so let's see how it feels. We're just gonna run this sand split map. We're gonna complete that. So before we actually do any development, we're just gonna run a very typical PoE2 map. Now, I haven't actually worked on this build since like 7 or 8 days, since I've been pretty much only working on the filter for the past week. More than a week, it's 10 days. So this filter is currently already around 15 to 20 days work in progress. With much more work going on to get the programming done. but we are kind of entering the end game now. In fact, I could probably release it earlier if I'd wanted to. If I would be okay with like having a potentially slightly lower quality. But the reason, and this was my initial plan, and then to fix things in progression, but we just figured out that most likely FiltrBlade can be released slightly earlier than expected, which means we'd like to sync it up with FiltrBlade. So it will release at the same time as FiltrBlade. Okay, I'm not exactly happy with the color on the uniques there. I feel like we might need to review that. Okay, so most things seem pretty okay right now. Also, just very basic highlights, right? We're just finding the typical drops. There's a gem, there's no rotation up. Now this is kind of like the zero strictness visuals. I'm trying not to modify visuals without any purpose. There's no way to specify tiers right now for on items. This is unfortunately just a limitation of the game. Yep, it is sad. But to be fair, I don't think advanced items are capable of becoming good enough if they have high tiers. Maybe something like boots or gloves, but pretty much no other cases. Their base stats are just too low. So you shouldn't be worried too much about hiding those. Brunon, you're very much welcome. Moin Baron, moin. How you like the storm mages? So much as screen cut. Yeah, that's the reason I use them. I think they're alright. I didn't actually max out the build by far, so there's like a lot of way to grow. But yeah, I like them. I think the best build actually would use storm mages just for the application of shocks. I think the chaos op is a bit too bright there. But I'm not sure if the best build should be using storm mages for damage. I think damage-wise or clear-wise, other builds are probably slightly better. So I think Sniper and Frost Mage are probably the best ones when it comes to single target damage. Arsonist is just a great all-rounder if you don't mind going blind. Storm Mage is just a very, very solid all-rounder as well. Also, they sometimes are actually better than the other version. You can't filter tablets by node count or map count anymore. Hey CDM, how are you? Good morning. Here I'm falling asleep after work and you're telling me good morning. Alright, there's our breach. Breaches are good for multiple things. They're good for drops, right? But they're also good for testing filters, by the way, because there's just so much stuff on the floor, and you kind of get a natural visual of the mix of items you get quite frequently. Beautiful. Right, so this is where we'll be working on the filter. We have a bunch of items there. It gives us a bit of an impression. We can pretty much look through that and then start adjusting things from here. Now, this isn't really a super juice breach. Like, you can still see things without a filter, right? Breaches go way wilder than this. It still is a little bit annoying, but it's nothing really crazy. This is how it looks like on my light filter. So a whole bunch of golden text. And we'll be designing a whole bunch of different sections today. Maybe we'll also be taking care of the Strictness design today. Gonna switch to the Oxlot. On the Oxlot, I have barely any minions. I have the feeling that the memory leak that happens with Summoner, it happens because of minions. So I'm just gonna stay on the Oxlot. Plus, it makes the screen a little bit clearer. Right. Where did we stop? 1 second, I'll be right back in 1 minute. We recently bought 3D printer for the first time, so my girlfriend is doing some 3D art and wants to print her own models out, and we are currently doing the first printer. When I see how it's going, I'll be right back. All right, let's go. First of all, let us fix a small bug in the filter. I'm aware of that. So there is a little issue with the rares. And I think this is the issue. So we need to go down on one level every single time. On FiltrBlade, we're using every single time we are declaring this sort of statement, a lesser than statement. And the rule has a large, well, if you have both statements, a lesser than and larger than or equal, the problem is we're kind of creating these range sliders, so we need to always use lesser than. Oops. So in this case, I need to adjust all of these. So this created an issue on FiltrBlade. And let's first of all push that. Hey, sideways. CDR sideways, if you see any issues or anything you dislike about the filter on the beta, please do tell. A beautiful offer. One divine for Kuba. Power. I'm relying on your game knowledge there and the standing on FiltrBlade. Let us push that. Hey, douchebag. Welcome. Right. Let me rebuild everything. And then I'm just gonna compile this for Zoe so that she can proceed implementing that thing in FiltrBlade. Where in trial should we put filter issue feedback? Good question, CD. Let me quickly arrange that. I'm gonna create 2 dedicated boards just for that. Not boards, but dedicated FiltrBlade 2 issues. So guys, for that we have a little bit, it's all sorted out because right now it's a bit tricky to kind of figure out where it's going on. I'm just talking to the internal team members, by the way. Sorry, it's not a public chat, but I want to kind of go through that. So I created 2 columns until next Monday, until this week and Monday release, just to sort out any sort of any sort of current issues. We'll delete them later and migrate them until all right, sorry about this talk. So just to show you what we're doing, we basically are tracking all of our FiltrBlade goals and issues there on our Trello board. Is it still on track? No, it's not on track. It will be second week. So it will be this weekend or next Monday. But on the bright side, we are releasing it together with FiltrBlade. So FiltrBlade will be released 1 week earlier. The filter will be released 1 week, more a couple of days later, not quite a week, kind of half a week later. Crazy AG, thank you so much for the sub, much appreciated. Yeah, let me push that. I'm a bit sorry about the extra delay, but I honestly think this is for the best to release it together with FiltrBlade. There's too many advantages to that. We could probably rush a release early on this week. I mean, I can get a version out as early as I want at this point, but I really think giving it a little bit more polish is really worth the time. Second. We have no idea when GG are going to implement those. I have, in my end, it's radio silence. So I've been talking to them about potentially something, and then the Christmas break came, and I don't really have any information right now. Once I have something to, yeah, once I have something to share, I'll definitely do. Doing some final preparations on the code here. Okay, let's go. So, some of the goals I want to tackle today. First of all, I need to go through every single height section, and I think we might actually want to start with the strictness. Honestly, I think this might be the easiest thing to do. Just go through the whole filter, get the strictness sections done. Okay, strictness is done in the following way. Let me show you how strictnesses are handled, just so that you guys have an overview of what the hell I'm writing. So there we go. I'm gonna paste this on the side so that you guys understand what I'm doing. There you go. So strictnesses have this sort of syntax. If you see something that is saying B4, this is not me talking about Diablo 4. This means it's disabled on strictness level 4. The strictness levels are seen above. Now I might change the names for PoE 2, but it's the same system, right? So D4 means disable on uber strict. Because soft doesn't have a strictness, soft is pretty much the lowest tier, it just takes the filter the way it is. Regular is the 0 strictness because we're developers and we use the GigaChat 0 index numbers. Then you have 1 semi-strict, 2 strict, 3 very strict, 4 uber strict, 5 uber plus strict. I can technically also write something like D6. Now that doesn't mean we have this right now, but if I ever will need a strictness of this tier, I can easily implement it. It's really just a snap of a hand at this point. So let's start with that. Gold drops up to 500. So the medium gold drops will be hidden on H5. So when you are getting into the Uber Plus and for normal drops or into Uber Strict, we'll be hiding the gold drops. This is just so that the screen is a little bit less flooded with gold. I might even consider going like on the very strict, but I think it's perfectly fine to go Uber Strict there. All right, then we go to the exotic bases. We have the common exotic bases, and these are generally breach rings. Now, breach rings, we can go with top mod breach rings, which are basically level 82 breach rings. And we have the normal breach rings, not rare ones. We're gonna hide the normal and magic ones on the strictness of Uber Strict, and the other ones are gonna be hidden on Uber Plus Strict. And we're never gonna hide quest items. Also, something we should be doing, if possible, is we don't need to hide things. We can disable them. Yeah, I haven't seen more than 5k either. So 5k is the largest size I've seen, so I'm using it as a baseline there. Okay, quest items, when you do H4, it hide up to T4, yes. if I hide no, wait, kind of the reverse. It hides from T4. So if I do H4, that means those two strictnesses will be hiding this item. What's the advantage of disabling over hiding? If the advantage there is that some other row could potentially pick up on the item. So this is, for instance, let's say you don't care about an item being having a socket, but you might care about the item having quality, right? If you hide it, it will just hide it whenever it will just stop passing there, and no matter what happens afterwards, it will no longer handle that. Oh, 1 second. I need to take a look at the 3D printer. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. We just did our first successful 3D print. We took a random sample model, took this little octopus. Pretty sure anyone who ever concerned himself with 3D printer saw this one already. But yeah, it's very cute. It's a little octopus with these movable parts, tentacles. Actually, very, very impressive how this was 3D printed, right? It kind of has all of these joints. But yeah, pretty impressive. But yeah, cute thing. We might give it a color later and put it somewhere. Very, very cool. Definitely will print some PoE swag with that later on. There's no future. There's a future 2024. Yeah, we need to update the site. We are working on a couple of things. You're right. We need to update the site. I don't really like the Arbiter's boss design. I think it's the worst fight in the game. But yeah, it's really cool. I'm playing around with it. I'm really liking how the joints turned out. You know, for our first 3D print, the fact that these joints can actually move so freely, really fascinating. Hey Sila, hey Phil. Yeah, I'm kind of getting distracted. We bought our 3D printer today, so my girlfriend needs it for her 3D projects and for her artwork. So to test it, we started by printing this octopus thingy. So it printed it like 1 hour. We got the bamboo P1S, and yeah, it's very cute, very adorable. But I think I'm just in general impressed with the technology, right? This has been all like made by one printer, so it's really impressive how it created these little joints there. There's of course details, as you can see these little seams there, so you would actually need to do some post work or some acidic work there if you want to do it, kind of remove them. I'm not sure if you can see these sort of lines. But yeah, we got the bamboo P1S with the AMS module. Wait, let me see if I can show you. Bamboo P1S. This thing, with these things up there. I also bought some different filaments there. But yeah, it's very adorable. I love how it feels. I was just going there and every couple of minutes and watching it print. I'm definitely gonna print some PoE stuff and PoE merch for that, but also just looking forward to, you know, it'll be fun for like pen and paper. It'll be fun to build for some home improvements, for some miniature things. I think it's just a lot of nice applications. Definitely, it's a luxury product, so she actually needs it, but I'm gonna benefit from having one in home, and it's surprisingly easy to operate. And I just love the little toy, you know, it just is very cute here. Okay. The machine operates on the same code as most CNC machine. That's actually pretty fascinating. I'm really impressed by the fact that it prints the joints this way. This is something, you know, I knew it did it, but just kind of seeing this thing printed out of one solid block, but then it basically having these sort of joints and this located part and these separate parts. This is really fascinating to watch. Now I understand it kind of creates absolutely tiny, I suppose it does this, so it creates absolutely tiny spots there and does it kind of separately, so I understand how this is created, but still very, very fascinating. Anyway, we've been working on the filter. Sorry for all the distractions. I promise to more focus time now. We've been working on the Strictness system. For those who just joined, the Strictness system works in a way that in this meta file code, I can mark sections with these orange letters. These orange letters are the ones that matter for Strictness. Nothing else matters for Strictness. So these ones, right? H5. But what does H5 mean? H5 translates into height on Strictness level 5. 5 is uber plus strict. 0 is regular, 1 is semi-strict, 2 is strict, very strict, uber strict. I can rename the strictnesses, of course, but this is just kind of the internal way of it working. There's a few other texts I can use there. So here's an example. D4 would be disable on strictness level 4. Now I'm mostly being distracted by the 3D print thingy. Right, so exotic bases. I think high level breaching should be hidden on Uber plus strict, the highest level breach rings, and normal high level breachings go on Uber strict. We might need to adjust that, but this is how we're gonna start with that. We want to talk about normal and magic ones. Then we get to the artifacts, fishing rod. This is fine. Double corrupted and over quality items should not drop, but if they drop, I want to see them on all strictnesses. Fishing rods and quest items, as I said before, do not need a strictness. Then we get to these items. These items are definitely needing some sort of strictness. These are endgame crafting bases. The way I think I'm going to design it is that on uber strict, I'm hiding all of that. On the very strict, I'm hiding the not so good ones already. This is kind of my personal design approach here. I might be wrong here. I'm not hiding chancing bases on any strictness right now. Now, pretty much generic amulets, rings, and so forth, I'm going to hide them on Uber plus strict, I think. With belt, we're going to go with one strictness lower. Right, then the hiding of the quality items. How expensive are artificer orbs right now? I don't think it's... How far are you from the initial recent FiltrBlade? 1 week, pretty much, exactly. We are aiming for this weekend or next Monday. Okay, so they're pretty cheap, so it's not really a great idea to take care of artificer orbs, at least on the strictness strict. So when it comes to disenchanting quality materials, we might even go with like D4 and D3. So we'll try something like that. And a bit of a strictness gradient. If the item is small, we can show them. Yeah, if the item is small, we'll be okay. If the item is small, we'll be showing it until strict. If the item is large, you will be disabling it on semi-strict. When it comes to the sockets in the end game, where leveling to be different. Then with the quality items, caster items and martial items with quality will be highlighted until very strict. Armor items until uber strict. Shibo.yo, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. It's very generous. I have no API, no ETA there. GG should be giving one. I do think it's unfortunate that GG is still on radio silence. So I suppose what basically happened, they returned to offices last week and probably mostly this week. And now like everyone is slowly brewing up a concrete plan. But also agree, they got bigger fish to fry with security duping. You know, like this is the big priority right now. Alright, so then we have the endgame flasks. If we have something with quality, it's not really important, honestly, because flasks kind of suck right now. You can't disenchant them anyway. So... Okay, endgame charms. At the latest on D5, you don't want to see quality charms anymore, and on D4, you definitely don't want to see any charms anyway. Let's try that. Alright, so then we get to the jewelry. The best rings and amulets probably should never be hidden. Or if they will be, it will be D6. When it comes to everything else, we're gonna go with D5 on the second tier on those, and D4 on the worst tier of these. When it comes to belts, we're gonna go naturally one tier down. Now, I might be overdoing it, we'll see. Yeah, only the highest strictness there will be hiding those. Then we get to the gear, and gear already has a sort of strictness progression, so we don't need to change that anymore. And when it comes to rares, we pretty much can use the same system as before. So we're gonna just copy up this thing, gobble it up, slap it in here. Actually, I think we're gonna grab this whole section. Exactly the same way, no changes. We can merge these. Okay, then we get to the stuff like runes. So the worst runes will be hidden on strict. Then yeah, let's take this progression for now. It's not exactly very terrible there. Okay, D4, D5 will be the standard progression for these things. So most of these will be hidden on D4, then D5. You might need to reanalyze that later on. The loot filter will come this weekend or Monday, or coming next Monday, not today. FiltrBlade as well. We are aiming for the same time on both. Only magic jewels will be hidden on Uber Plus Strict. Right. Socket scores. Yeah, these need to be hidden. This is H, not D. It's really interesting how certain things take so much more time than others. For instance, modifying strictnesses or building up a strictness system is kind of trivial for me, but building freaking styles and colors is so much annoyance. I can't stop giggling at this thing that we just 3D printed. I love the little octopus. This is our first 3D print. If you kind of missed that, my girlfriend needed a printer for a bunch of her artsy stuff. So this has been the stuff we printed for testing, and it's just adorable. Exile is a domain language. One second. No, the octopus was a prepared design. She has already created some designs by herself. So she's been cooperating with her sister on a couple of designs. I'm pretty sure I can link you those if you're interested. So here are some designs by her. Like this one. So this is for pen and papery stuff. If her sister works on pen and paper books and stuff. This is a Catulus apparently. So what is exile? Exile is a domain language. Domain languages are kind of this special little construct. Okay, so maybe this needs explanation. Why do developers make programming languages? Because, you could write things in 1 and 0s. But this is exactly the same reason why you as a person want to have tools if you're doing something in your home, right? You can technically wash your I don't know, you can technically wash your plates with hands, but having a sponge is better. Having a machine is even better than that. So the same way, programming languages are basically an interface that allows you to solve certain problems in a better way. Certain programming languages are optimized better to solve specific problems. So I could, of course, write everything in the natural PoE filter language I once did, but I find it very annoying to work this way when it comes to more advanced topics like economy-based steering, styles, and strictnesses. So I designed a little programming languages that is kind of like a superset. That is a superset for the normal filter language, but supports a lot more functions. So I can do things here like inheritance, iterations, collections, special indexing, stuff that is very useful for filter making. And the language is called exile. So it handles things like tier lists, styles, style strategies, and stuff like that. So I don't write filters anymore in the natural language. I write it in exile, and then exile gets transferred into the filter. On top of that, it kind of gives me a competitive advantage. I used to open source this for a while, but there was basically no one doing anything with that for like 2 or 3 years. But then people actually started complaining because they started messing around with that and they were breaking filters and creating mistakes there, and I pretty much decided, okay, you know what, I don't have time to fix that. I'm going to close source it until I'll get around with that. And at that point, I just kind of never got around to that.
Glorious.
Avocado toast bread. Thank you so much for what's with the name. Thank you so much for the support. Much appreciated. Thank you, mate. All right, so this is what I'm gonna go with. So right now, actually, we might even well, we'll start this way. We'll see from there. I might actually go a strictness high there. So what is this? H4, H5, H6. So that means on uber strict, hide this. On uber plus strict, we might even... Do we dare go up 1 tier? You know what? I'm not gonna do it with the cores, I think, here, but... Because that's such a rare drop. Alright, so we have these low tier campaign stuff. I'm gonna leave them alone for now. I'm just gonna slap them in H5. So only on Uber Plus Trick do we hide all of these. And then in the end game, if you don't need the gems anymore, at least in H4, we can hide them. So on H5, we can also hide level 19 gems. I don't think you will... So yeah, level 20 gems are super valuable, so we'll never hide them. These are kind of like the beginning tiering things. They're very, very simple, very easy to change. But luckily, it's also really not an issue. Alright, so then we get to the Waystone. Waystone tiering is also pretty trivial. So on very strict, we're gonna, you know, on uber strict, we're gonna hide all of the low tier Waystone. Just on there. They kind of have a use case right now, so I don't know. You kind of want to keep some around for this whole blocking strat. We'll see how it goes. I'm just gonna start this way. Just gonna say Waystones up to tier 6, hidden on Uber Strict, up to tier 12, hidden on Uber Plus Strict. And I can adjust it anytime, and people can adjust it on FiltrBlade. We'll see how it goes. I think this is just a good way to do that. I know this might sound a little bit extreme to some of you, or maybe a little bit too weak to some others, but I just need to start somewhere, right? Okay, let's hide this on very strict, this on. Alright, the wisdom scrolls, right? This gets hidden very quickly, so this is H3, maybe even H2. Just don't care about this stuff. And this goes on very strict, and this goes on. Actually, I'm not sure if this ever should be hidden. A blocking strat? Yeah. So heard this a couple of times. Alright, so when you run a tower, actually had to have something to show. No, Doriani, I don't care about to talk to you. Actually, I do care to talk to Doriani. Doriani is kind of fascinating, but there's just nothing to do there. Do we have like a tower we can place something in? Shit. Okay, well, imagine I'd have a tower to place something in there, right? Imagine it would be this tower. So this tower could give a tablet to pretty much anything nearby, right? So it could give it to Sump. I'm not sure if it was Sump, but I think Sump was like one of the shittiest maps to run. Was it Sump or Maya? I don't know. Well, do we have like some other really annoying map? Oh yeah, Maya was also like incredibly annoying, right? So you don't want to use your precursor tablet, and imagine it's a better precursor tablet, and to so that your precursor tablet would give this map the breach stones, right? Or whatever else. So you want it to only affect the good maps. So what you can do is simply use like a level 1 map here. Just open it. And you don't need to run it. And then you just open another map. The map will be counted as attempted. Wait, do I have like something there? Attempted means I failed it. Yeah, this one. Here I died or forgot to finish it, whatever. And this map will never receive new mods from the tower. That means the tower will try to get its mods and leaks applied to other maps. That means you can basically, with like a trashy map, put a trashy map there, and this trashy map will never receive mods from the tower. That means you can basically focus the tower mods on the best maps around. So you don't. This is kind of just a nice way for you to concentrate the tower mods. This is why there are some people buying up like shitty tier maps right now, which is why they have a little bit of value suddenly. Now, depending how much you're introducing, this may or may not be interesting to you, but I find it, yeah. I find it to be interesting. Yep, you don't need to, if you open it and then open another one, it counts as attempted, which is somewhat like failed. So yeah, you can do that. Sideways foul. Oh no. It is accurate, but all right. So worst tier currencies. what are these right now? What is in currency tier 5? Currency generic, let's look them up. Armorers, edges, flexible whetstone, lesser jeweler. Okay, so these are still somewhat useful, but probably not very strict useful. I'm gonna give it a try. And then we get to like scraps. Okay, so this is definitely kind of see already strictness level uber plus strict. This is very, very strict there. We might need to review a couple of these things again, but guys, I don't mind the plural pronoun. So this is kind of dangerous discussion topic thing. I support the whole movement. I have a whole bunch of friends. Oh, a whole bunch. Yeah, at this point, it's really several friends who have been transitioning, going through that, and it's been kind of interesting to see it because you see it kind of the steps they're going through. Practical concerns, very important. I don't mind the whole. I think it's important that people can articulate and tell what their preferred pronouns are. I don't think everyone needs to tell it because I think in most cases, kind of from the practical perspective, I think in most cases it is obvious. And it might not be obvious in some cases. I think for the sake of pragmatism, I would prefer if we don't like spam everything with pronouns. But if someone wants to do it, I don't mind. This is kind of just my stance on it. If you want to say it, I don't mind. I will respect it perfectly. I just don't think I need to tell it. Like, you know, I don't think at any point anyone I will not give you vibes that I'm identifying myself as anything else. Other than that, I'm just avoiding this whole topic, and not because I don't think it's not important, but it's because kind of online, it's kind of like a great way to ignite an oil barrel, right? I don't want this whole drama going on the Twitch channel and so forth. So you can call, yeah, that's basically it. My accent is a bit of a weird thing. So from the pure bloodline perspective, you'll find Russian blood, Ukrainian blood, Polish blood, German blood, and some other mostly Slavic bloodlines. I've lived in Latvia, I've lived in Ukraine, I've lived in Russia, I lived in Germany, I've lived in Ireland for a little bit. Well, a year probably doesn't count. My professor barely talked English. He was from Yugoslavia. He was like incredibly popular, but his English was terrible. So I don't think this counts. Anyway, yeah, that's why my accent is all over the place. I don't have a single language without an accent anymore because I've been just traveling left and right. But yeah, it's a mix of German and Russian, probably, for you. I do not speak Latvian. I knew a couple of words at this point, nothing remains. I do speak fluent Russian. I have pretty decent Ukrainian, at least I understand everything, but I have trouble talking it myself. No, all good sideways. Найти or найти. Пожалуйста. Спасибо за слова. Добрые. Hey, I love the Russian language. It's the politics I've troubles with. I still prefer to read, like, I still prefer to read books in Russian. So kind of Russian for me is my reading language. Like if I get, if there's a book and it's translated in English and in Russian, I will take the Russian book. But if it's the original is English, I will of course read in English. Диафмос, привет. Right, so let's go with the same tiering here. This is going to be H4, and this is going to be H5, and H6, which probably doesn't matter right now. Huh. Funny you mentioned Greek. I might, so I'm considering learning a little bit of Greek because my girlfriend comes from Greece and we are occasionally visiting her family, and it's happening more and more often recently. So, you know, I want to have like at least a couple of words so that they can communicate, you know, like a shop or with the family, like just share a couple of words. But I don't know if I'll get there. Which did you visit? Pretty much just one, Rhodes. So she's from the island, from Rhodes, and is it Rhodes? I know it's Rhodos in German. I think it's Rhodes in English, but I think there's also Rhodes Island, which is the USA place, so I'm very confused. Rhodos, right? So Rhodes is the USA island, right? I don't know how they pronounce it in... Yeah, Rhodes it is. Rhodos. But I was also in Creta for diving. And I think another island for diving as well. I occasionally dive with friends. Actually going to be diving 2 weeks later on Tenerife. You do enjoy Sanctum blasting, mate. Yeah, let's go with those two. Okay, I'm gonna just make this one strict because essences are kind of an on-demand kill, so they definitely need a different strictness approach. Okay, we are only hiding the lowest tier of omens and only on the highest strictness. Yeah, I've been to Tenerife once already. To be honest, I like Rhodos a lot more. So I do love the kind of the volcanic areas in Tenerife, and I also think Tenerife is better for diving. And this might be just the touristy feeling, but I feel like when it comes to actual food and to the nature, I did prefer Rhodos a lot more over Tenerife. Standing desk. You cruel person, want me to stay healthy? Yeah, let's go for that. Half an hour standing desk at the very least. Oh yeah, I need to start working on my health again. I've gained so much weight over the last year. Right. I don't think we're gonna hide any kind of splinters at this point. Okay, definitely hiding these on the high strictness. I don't think anyone cares about the trial keys there. Second ring. Okay, then we get to the uniques. So on Uber Strict, we hide a whole bunch of them. On Uber Plus Strict, we hide a bunch more. And also these. I love how quick it is to design a Strictness. Yeah, you're totally right. Definitely should go for that. I've been considering expanding my diving license. So far I have the normal license to dive until 18 meters. And I also have I think I have the night and the cave diving specialization. I might go to go up to 30, but I'm not sure if it's worth it because most of the dives I've actually seen that were the best dives were diving either fairly shallow at night or cave dives, or it's kind of like not so deep because the moment you kind of hit even 18 meters, and I know 18 meters isn't incredibly deep, there's just very little light. It's colder, you run out of air faster, and there's just no big advantages there. I should probably hit the Oculus until that week and see if I can get like lenses so that I can actually see something underwater. Kind of abuse my camera for that right now. I'm afraid to go outside of Greece to dive. Here it's safe and that's all I want to know. I highly recommend it. So the way I do it is I don't never dive myself. So I always so diving is for me a special hobby because it's a way for me to actually meet a couple of friends that I rarely see. So I have a couple of friends from southern Germany and from all around Germany that we kind of go on a diving vacation on every year. And honestly, it's some of the highlights for me every single year. I really always look forward to these kind of like 1 week that we do there. It also doesn't have to be too long. We basically kind of book a villa or book a bunch of hotel rooms somewhere. Get some fairly affordable flights. Like my flight to Tenerife is 200 euros back and there. It's not too expensive to go from Germany. 1 week, good food, good conversations with awesome friends. And then I do like 8 to 10 dives, sometimes only 6. With focus on like interesting dives, so like night dives, cave dives, boat dives, not just your run of the mill, let's take a walk around the local standard stuff. Yeah, and this is really fun. I think this is some of the highlights for me overall. And it just is super good to do, And also, you just see so many interesting, diverse things in many lands. So in New Zealand, I've never seen so many stingrays like in New Zealand. New Zealand had these amazing stingrays and the diverse and kind of really unique fauna. On Tenerife, I've seen a whole bunch of octopus. That's been really, really awesome to see how many there are out there. I think around Malta, we saw a bunch of turtles, which has been really cool. And you kind of see these things that are kind of unique or native to certain countries, which is just really cool. I think I'm 70% of the things I enjoy is actually the underwater life. I don't think I would be caring a lot about diving if it would be just if it kind of if the sea is that. It's been like one or two dives where I would say, hey, I saw things that were fascinating that were not underwater life. Thailand. Yeah, I heard good things about that as well. Maybe one day. Have you ever been Red Sea? No, unfortunately not. That's still a plan. This year I've been in Japan, but unfortunately we didn't have time to dive. But I've been swimming this year a couple of times. So, how do we deal with these? I would say we just hide all of that on Overstrict if you don't really care about. And on the highest tiers, we just hide everything. One second, I need to check something. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Welcome, Bunny. How are you today? How are you doing? Bunny, I have a new acquisition. Oh, one second, sorry. Sorry, problem. Oh, there we are. All good. Bunny, my girlfriend needed a 3D printer for her art project. So we acquired one. First 3D print finish. Got this little octopus now. Very cute. Kimchi doesn't mind it either. Power company saying that may turn us off again. Why? If I wins. Okay. Yeah, I think living in US is definitely adventurous. It's kind of something we barely have any contact in Germany because we pretty much just get some areas where we have some flooding occasionally, but we don't really have. We rarely have winds. We rarely have any sort of fire danger. We don't have quakes. We don't have tornadoes. We don't have anything extreme here. So the biggest you get is like some occasional floods. Floods can be actually pretty bad here, but most of the places that have a lot of floods are kind of prepared for floods. Like in the city I live in, we even have like this high tide restaurant that gets occasionally flooded. It's like super prepared for it, super casual about it. No, I'm living in Lübeck. I love Lübeck. Lübeck is very nice. I don't care much for that. I don't care much for Dortmund or football. Soccer, whatever. Don't care for that for a question either. But this is just me being my nerdy self. Alright, let's proceed.
Glorious.
Actually, that's a bit stupid. This should all be a D. Oh, no. No. There we go. Paulo Week, thank you so much. Hey, Borchos. Yep, everything doing well. Today we are reviewing the strictness in the filter. And I'm not exactly, at least doing some initial implementation for that. Okay, I think this actually covers the strictnesses. Let's first of all see if this generates. Oh, there's warnings. What are the warnings? Why do you warn me? Tech not unique. So, I know why. Salvageable. I'm so glad I took the time to build this warning system. Are there any warnings now? Yes, only style ones. Style ones do not count. Style ones are fine. Let's see if it compiles in-game. Very good. Can we enable strictness generation? Yes, the filter can analyze item sizes. I do it, for instance, in the section when it comes to sockets. So I can show more items with lower sizes than higher sizes. Oh, whoops. Okay, so now we're gonna build strictnesses, right? You cannot use the unfinished version of the filter. I have very little interest in sharing or spreading versions that have potentially errors in them, and then doing a whole bunch of hunting around for people who might have unfinished versions and trying to figure out who has what kind of version. It's just not something I do. The real finished version will be shared in around a week. I'm aiming for the coming Sunday or Monday. Also FiltrBlade. It will be released on the same day as FiltrBlade. Let's try that. Does this work? Yeah, awesome. That was easy enough. Let's see if it works already. I love the system. It's so good to have kind of this whole stuff prepared. Alright, soft. A whole bunch of crap shown, right? Regular, no big difference. I don't think there's a difference between regular and soft right now. Semi-strict, okay. Strict. Very strict. Uber strict. Uber plus strict. Okay. Now we're talking. Why are you shown? Oh, it didn't. No, wait, why are you shown? Oh, it didn't refresh. It's this kind of bug where it caches some items for some reason. Yeah, really, really good. That was easy enough. This is kind of the advantage behind having this whole, you know, work already built up over the years. This system is pretty much, while I've completely written the filter, it's been a full rewrite of the filter from PoE 1, but the whole system of strictnesses, it's been existing from PoE 1, so it just enabled and it just works, right? Todd Howard would be proud, it just works. I restarted the game because for some reason playing Minion, there's some memory leak every time I play. Why do I play Witch then? I don't need to play Witch for testing. Let me lock on the Monk. Yep. Teams, that's basically the goal. I'm not sure how to pronounce your nickname, so I'm gonna go with Teams. I hope this is okay with you, but please tell me if something else is preferable. Hey, Blood. Ah, Thompson, alright. Gonna go with that then. I saw a whole bunch of different photos, yes. Yep, I saw it. I'm not really too interested about that because I don't do in-game apps. Sorry, I don't do local apps, and we can already export filters pretty much directly. So there is an option to directly export filters from the FiltrBlade to your file, save it in-game, refresh. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing any local applications. It's just kind of stuff I'm not interested in. But what we can do at this point is, this is something, somewhat of a feature we didn't promote much yet, but it's already there on FiltrBlade. Let me show you. So on FiltrBlade we have this feature. You can enable it in the settings here, of filter direct write. So you can click Ctrl S then, and it suggests you to save the filter somewhere, right? So I'm just gonna save it to FiltrBlade 5. And then once you select it once, you can do like any change. Actually, don't wanna do it like that because I would modify my PoE 1 filter. But let's do some other change, right? So, you know, let's say I would disable breach zones. And I Ctrl S, you only need to select it once per instance. You're done now. Now you can Ctrl S and it instantly saves. Ctrl S again, instantly saves. Actually, didn't save there. Why not? Okay, works now. Okay, now, Okay, I need to check why it doesn't save the file anymore. Previously it used to save the file, but this is the general idea. Yeah, people want things in-game, but to be fair, most of the people... the difference between in-game overlay and a web UI is incredibly small. Nowadays, actually, everyone uses pretty much multiple monitors. The only difference is for consoles, and consoles can't actually use that. So, you know, I'm fine. I'm not really interested in this approach. There's been always like in-game overlays for filters. But we might see how it works in the future. Alright, so let's check the strictness again. Soft, whole bunch of stuff. Regular. Strict. Very strict. Uber strict. Uber plus strict. Alright, okay, good enough. Something's lagging. Let me push that. I suppose we can look into some sort of an interface with FiltrBlade long term, but this is not a priority right now. It is one click more on FiltrBlade, so you can pretty much copy an item, Ctrl-C it, no, Ctrl-C an item, go to FiltrBlade, and you can import the item here. And then you can hide, well, it's invalid because I copied the PoE2 item into PoE1. Oh well. Honestly, I think GG's. The song is... I think it's Carry On. I think it is from the Rimworld mod soundtrack. I really need to remember where I got it from. So it's this pack of songs that I got for Rimworld. I think it's called Rimpy Music, and yeah, I think that's it. Oh, GG's big issues. Currently hacking, duplications, and all of this stuff. So I think they have bigger issues right now than that. But there might come a point where an in-game integration will actually be necessary. I don't deny that. Where was I? Yeah, I want to push that, right? Let me contact Zoe, new push. Now with Strictness support. Let's see the newest great offer. I'm just collecting uniques in my unique stash tab. I think the way we'll do it is we'll add another section there. Let's go with the low strictness show layer. And that will be a show rule, right? Let's go with any. And what we'll do there is we need to give it the same mods as this. And it doesn't need any other rules here for now. With the only difference that this needs to be disabled on the lower strictness. Let's give it a try. I think this will actually work quite well. Okay, so this is soft, and soft is now really showing a lot of crappy stuff, but this is intended because this is soft. I definitely wanna bring that gear if possible. Let's design this sort of minimal style. So minimal will use the smallest font size we have available. Well, not the complete smallest, but let's go with 24. Set background color. Let's do that. Yeah, minimal is a keyword. I can't use that. Ash, no. Let's go with useless. Alright, set font size, this totally minimal font size. We're gonna attach this highlight there. think this, yeah, let's rebuild that. What have I done? Oh no, what happened there? Why is it red? Oh, text cover. Oops. Okay, that works. You also receive some border color, but I think this is a mistake with the decorators. You can go up on this text size a tiny bit because it can't be unreadable. It shouldn't be unreadable. It's for people who are mostly incredibly paranoid. I do respect their decision to use this sort of super low filter, but it's really items that pretty much have no use whatsoever, I hope. I know there's always might be this odd one out, so that's fine. Let's commit the progress. It's mostly strictness work, right? Right, let me sit down again. Wonder why PoE lags so much. So why are we still showing these? Wait, I think it just didn't save that. I think we could cut down a little bit more on the strictness. Simply strong, you're very much welcome. When did you start working on the project? 9 years ago. It's something I started doing just for myself, but back then I've been kind of known for pretty much an archer guide in PoE, and I just did it for myself because I was so annoyed by the item names. And then I just kept updating it, and I'm really good at kind of language parsing and data processing, so it kind of, you know, it's a field of data that I'm really good at, and I do have sufficient PoE knowledge to allow me to actually create a high quality product. Is the underlying system in-game? Yes, the PoE provides an API for you to work on filters, but that's all it provides. So it allows you to color items and so forth, but when it comes to like integrating an economy data and so forth, you're on your own. Did I work together with GG? Well, the answer is yes and no at the same time. Do I have any sort of official affiliation with them? No. I'm in no way affiliated with them. Do I talk to GG? Yes. Have I suggested changes to the filter to GG that they implemented? Yes. Are they using my filter on consoles? Also yes. They have my permission to do that. but we don't have like any sort of formal contract going on. I don't get paid by them, but I do receive certain benefits. Like they flew me over to both exile cons, paid for my hotel and flight and whatever tickets. I've been testing PoE 2 once in LA. I do have some context to talk to directly. Well, this thing I said regarding consoles, this is kind of my stance regarding that is the following one. On consoles, they can give my filter out if they want to, but they may not modify it. They may not modify the contents of the name. They need to announce that the filter is, well, provided by me. And I also do want to have some time ahead of some information ahead of time when they want to update that. So what things have I suggested? A whole bunch of them. Let me think. Like many of the new little commands. The continue command was suggested by me. Many individual commands for like has implicit mod specific modifications to like the ability to filter for multiple has explicit mods have been suggested. You know, a lot of filter syntax stuff, like mostly syntax modifications to item names, classes. I've been pestering them about things like the Mjolnir base type. No, wait, was it game? No. The Maelstrom staff. Like removing special characters from names, stuff like that. Pretty much, I get the promotion for free and I get information, and basically you could call it an advantage. Because while it's not my main job, something I do as a hobby, it is a hobby that at this point does grant me some benefits. It grants me a certain reputation and standing. It does grant me social growth. So, for instance, if at some point I release a game and I'm working on my own little indie game, in no way similar to PoE, I can use the social growth to promote that, right? At the same time, I do have a Patreon, and while most of the money from Patreon goes into either funding the project itself and licenses, commissions, whatever, or if we have to pay the German government in terms of taxes, I suppose, it still leaves some money as an income. So I do get monetary benefits from that as well. I'm very thankful to the Patreon supporters, of course, but yeah, this is basically the way it works. So, you know, and the whole fact that so many people are here right now is also kind of a benefit of the situation. There would be a lot more if I would be streaming regularly and actually trying to promote the stream. Anyway, I'm actually pretty happy with this decision to build up this additional show all rule. I think we should add this rule everywhere else. So it kind of is a bit weird because we're kind of adding this pretty pointless rule otherwise, but it's generally useful to handle certain problems there. Well, it will be kinda... Yeah, it's okay. I'll split it up. Well, I can make it better, right? I can make it better. Well, let's make it better. Section... height layer, right? Now we're gonna build it up in the following way. We're gonna take all of this stuff there and put it into this rule set. And then I'm gonna have a show any, and this will receive this information. Not actually sure if this is working correctly. And then this one will receive the height layer information. So let me see if this sort of syntax would work. It would make my life a little bit easier. Yeah, I was afraid that this is not supposed to work. But maybe... Oh, this might be it. Okay. Does this just work? Surprisingly enough, it does. What does it generate? Okay, fine. Just works. No issues with it, whatever. Oh yeah, regarding the excavated chest, I'm not sure I brought this up already. I think I brought this up at some point. Yeah, this system works well. So this basically is specifically so that the highlight strictness works well. Okay, let's do it for the rares. So we need to restructure things to work the same way, right? So basically we need to grab this thing and put this here, right? And then we need to grab everything else from here, and we're gonna put them as an inheritance part into this rule. Everything, so I need to always be careful that nothing is left out. Did I forget? Okay, so it needs to the rule, right? And then we're gonna grab this thing and put it there as well. And it should just work, just by adding this one little rule. Cool. And then we get to the final height layer. There's like a small height layer in between, but this is the critical one. So this just needs the class here. And we're gonna copy the height layer there. Very good. Oh, wait. Great. It was an exit match. No, it wasn't. Fine. So if we've done everything correctly, I think we have not done everything correctly. I think it's the remaining layers. Looks not much better. Okay. So soft now shows way more items. If I switch to regular, all of these get hidden. Beautiful. I wonder if we just killed the whole FiltrBlade branch. I'm pretty sure we did. We did so many changes. I bet it doesn't work. Yeah. That's okay still. Well, we're slowly getting there, right? It just dies. Yeah, this is work in progress FiltrBlade. So we are populating now. This last weekend we started the work of actually binding the filter to FiltrBlade. So I'm not sure what is the best comparison. There's definitely some anime comparison we can find there. Basically, the filter and FiltrBlade needs to work one-to-one. So it's like a lock and key. It's like a fine-tuned. It's energetic, right? It's nearly symbiotic. It needs to be basically fine-tuned specifically to the filter. So this structure here is being kind of perfectly synced with the filter that I provide. So this is the way it works. This is how the structure is being created. And this is actually one of the biggest advantages of FiltrBlade, because a lot of people try to sell the idea of making a filter from code. And we're basically telling, hey, we provide you with a really good product by default, but you can also customize it to be anything you want. Why is it lagging? There's something weird going on in PoE at times. Why is this highlighted? What strictness are we on? We are on Uber strict. Okay, it sometimes just messes up the highlights here. There's some sort of caching that wasn't there in PoE 1. This is a PoE 2 specific problem. I definitely should announce that. But yeah, this is how I think a lot of people want their endgame to be. Very clean, no kind of crap there. I think it would be nice if the crafting bases get hidden at strictness earlier, so that if you are really interested in just looting currencies, crafting bases don't get in the way. So we might even adjust these things here and there, but I think very strict is kind of where it's at. So you still see rares on very strict, but no longer crafting bases. Why is the Omen Scepter there? Okay, it's the chest once again. And let's also hide the gems. We might enable the ideal bases, because they are kind of rare. So we have the other bases, and at least when it comes to skilled and support, these get disabled. 19, these get disabled on... I don't know what, on the very strict? That's tough to say. Maybe we should just leave them be for now. Especially early on, I think people will still want to see the gems. But yeah, I think this is a very comfortable... Wait, it's bugged, right? Is it bugged? Oh no, it's not bugged, it's just a quote item. I think people will still want to see all of this stuff. Yeah, I think this is very comfortable. You can decide to grab or not to grab your gems. Since if you're leveling, you kind of still might want to grab these, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. Maybe I should keep them out. I don't know what to say. No, I think I want to remove them. Maybe some people will complain, and they might be right about that, but I think I'm okay with just removing these. Oh wait, these are the campaign gems, right? Oh, gems in campaign. Wait, lower highlight for low level gems found in campaign. Is this even correct? No. For lower level gems in maps. The comment is wrong. Let's remove that. Oh, level 20 gems will still get highlighted. I'm only removing gems between up until level 18. And yes, long term it will be based on the economy, yes. Thank you so much for the bits. Much appreciated. Unfortunately, I do not have a console release date. The whole thing for console depends entirely on GG. It is just something we, it's just something we have no influence over. GG needs to enable the APIs or to copy the filters, whatever they want to do. But I can't do anything about consoles. The latest version will be available around next weekend-ish, maybe even earlier. We'll see how it goes. Alright, still, this works well for now. Well, I don't completely blame them, considering how much stuff they had to work on at the same time. There's just a lot of things kind of getting left behind. It's not just the consoles, you know. Magic Find security, sadly, apparently a whole bunch of really critical bugs were discovered. Minion AI is terrible, but you know, early access, they'll get it there. Yeah, I've seen. Well, Simply Strong, I would appreciate if you wouldn't do that exactly. So I'm not actually sure if this is quite as easy as you think. The issue with local stuff isn't actually running FiltrBlade locally. This is something I can do. This is kind of the easier part. The harder part is, and the tricky part, the part that basically where this whole thing becomes messy, are A, the right data files, and B, the APIs. So there are certain things like local saving is definitely working, but if you want to save it onto your account, sync it to your account, this becomes a bit tricky. And then the second part is the files that FiltrBlade provides are updated very, very frequently. Locally, things wouldn't even have any ad revenue. So the issue we kind of get into very quickly is that people will be spamming the APIs. We'll be getting zero ad revenue out of that. So we'd be basically just burning money while people will be constantly trying to update the files locally that are otherwise properly handled by the CDN. So yeah, this becomes really quickly something we dislike. So I would appreciate if this wouldn't happen. Yep, exactly. It would be a problem to the project. Because and this is becoming a larger problem because FiltrBlade, at least once the APIs are on, generates new filters every 4 hours. So we have one background process running that basically refreshes all the filter based on the in-game economy data. And this is also not something we want to run locally because then it would spam the PoE APIs. And it would also spam the PoE Ninja APIs, and PoE Ninja will not appreciate it either. I try to have one proper backend that generates new filters, a CDN that handles that. And then a proper cloud website. I think it actually wouldn't be against the rules. I think it's not against the rules. I don't think there's anything that would forbid you from doing such a solution on the GGG end. I would obviously try to fight it in some way. At least I would definitely not promote it or not allow any discussion of such things in the Discord. But yeah, it is technically not forbidden. And some people have done similar things, so it didn't work out long term for them for different reasons. I'm not sure. So yeah, Kawa is probably getting nerfed. Okay, I need a short break. I'll be right back. Gonna grab something to drink. I'm back. Simply strong. Just use the Ctrl S shortcut. You know, you can just click Ctrl S and do save, or use the quick save option if you configure that. And you can even use the direct write option so that it, in the settings, once you specify a file, it will directly update the file on your file system, so you don't need to even do any sort of copying there. Just the only thing I want to prevent is people basically spamming APIs, because the advantage of FiltrBlade is that it preserves your saves or preserves your changes, and I don't really want the same client basically spamming a save change every single time they kind of adjust the color by any minimal amount. But I might ask GG again if they might allow us to trigger the reload filter via API. I think that should be just a thing, honestly. The reason we do that is specifically so that users will never lose changes, so that everything is always out in sync. That when users export their save, they can guarantee that it will be the same in our database. Why does the game become laggy over time? Well, you can sync it locally if you want to. That is perfectly fine. But unfortunately, GG has a sort of caching mechanism, probably some sort of CDN, so that if you update your filter way too often, right. What else needs adjustment? It's a superior flask, right? If I regal shot there.
Glorious.
Yeah, I think that regal shot should be hidden earlier. Should it be so? I mean, it's not the worst drop for strict, but if Alicia, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the prime sub, much appreciated. Yeah, the sync thing is very annoying. I wish EG would provide some solution for that. It works well if you sync it like once an hour or so, but once you're getting in this whole frequent changes thing, it's very annoying. Right, where were we? Okay, this color has been annoying me a little bit. I feel like it's slightly too intense. Let's give it a little bit more. Saturated. Wait, I'm wrong about that, right? Is it changing? I can't tell. Okay, let's just change it. Check if we're in the right spot. So I'm gonna make like a way too strong change. So we need to see a difference now, right? Okay, so it does work. The colors are a bit too similar, we might modify that.
Fate is on my side.
Okay, that looks good. It's 11 which was no filter. Okay. So I think we can't actually extract much more out of this map in terms of knowledge. So I think I've adjusted pretty much most of the things I wanted to see. Let us take a look at the spiral again, then we'll start a new map. I've done a lot of adjustments. So we have the expert pass. So the expert bases are somewhat highlighted there that are actually useful. Pretty much you want at least go regular there. I'm not sure, there's barely any difference between regular and strict and semi-strict, which we probably should adjust. So it's H1 or D1, that's barely any changes, right? Large sockets are not being shown. The worst of the worst bases is being hidden. And the worst supplies will be hidden as well. Yep, it looks good. Let's pick everything up
Fate is on my side.
and go try out a new map. Just to see how it plays. I'm gonna run semi-strict here, so it's gonna show... No, it's gonna show some things, but most of it will be hidden. Or at least half the items are hidden. Not very strict.
I carry few possessions. I don't have room for that. Speak.
That's a lot of life. Let me restart my game. Something is off with PoE's optimization right now. PoE starts lagging very quickly. Right, I'm gonna run on my monk. It's been a while since I've been actually playing actively on the monk, so let's see how it goes. I've been mostly playing on the witch lately, but we should be fine. The monk is pretty strong. We might die, but let's give our best. Gonna run the lovely, lovely sump map. Everyone loves sump. Guys, everything's so laggy. It feels like, I don't know why, but in the past days the performance seemed to have gone down drastically. I don't know why. Something I did not miss about the monk is how much mana blast spamming you need to do. Something I did miss was the speed on the bell. Monk just feels so much faster than the other classes. Well, right now you will simply not get anything for cheapos, so I suppose GG needs to adjust that, but I'm pretty sure they'll make a post about it if they'll do. But right now there's no way to make it work. Same for consoles. Yeah, but quarter staff and gemlink, you know, attribute stackers are probably the one of the two best archetypes in the game. It's archetype and archmage. Pretty much anything, they outscale pretty much everything, and are pretty much the first on the nerf hammer as well. Also the comet build. Not the comet build, but the barrier internal loop. It just doesn't count. I think it will get hit. I'm not sure if it will get hit in this patch, but I'm pretty sure it will get hit. It is way too strong. The problem is not that it's strong, the problem is it basically stupidly outscales everything. It's not like it's slightly stronger. It's not like it's, you know, 2 times stronger or 3 times stronger. Let's say it feels like it's more like 10 times stronger. Yes, but PoE 1 provides enough valid alternatives. Attribute stacking is not necessarily the strongest thing in PoE 1. It's one of many strong endgame options. The general rule should be that the amount of power is kinda somewhat relatively the same regarding the investment. And it feels like attribute stacking just scales way harder than this investment and pretty much everything else. Same for Archmage. So I think that, well, Mana. I think those two things are just the two most busted builds out there right now. If you disregard things like energy, barrier looping, stuff like that. Oh, I do want attribute stacking to be a thing. I think it's a fun archetype. I just don't think it should be quite on the same level. Well, I suppose we'll see what GEG nerfs and doesn't. Why is the game so laggy? Is it the ping? It felt like... No, that actually felt like server lag. Yeah, I agree. Only time will tell. I suppose we'll have to wait and see what will happen after the next... I'm not sure if there will be a reset. Oh, whoops. I could blame Lex there, but honestly I stood in some on-death effects. Got a little bit distracted. That's right. Let's write another one. Not a big deal. Haven't touched the boat in 2 weeks, but... This is something I totally, forgot by playing Energy Shield. Energy Shield is so much better at surviving. Random things barely ever kill you. I think the reason why... So, I'm not saying Hammer of the Gods one-shotting enemies, or in general, things one-shotting enemies is an issue. It's not an issue. I think the only reason why it's not a huge priority issue right now is because bossing in general is just a lower priority thing right now. And the game doesn't provide you sufficient boss fights. And access to boss fights is pretty hard. I mean, Breach can be accessed fairly regularly. Everything else is... It feels at least very hard to access to me. How is armor in PvE2? It's kind of an interesting situation with this armor. It's a mix out of very good and very bad. I think it's never both. If you're hitting certain breakpoints, or if you're having certain supportive setups like Infernalist, Conversion, armor is very, very solid. If you don't have these, armor is pretty damn poor because it just barely does anything. Yeah, well, my Infernalist armor is amazing. I agree, same thing. Okay, this is pretty unplayable. What's Strictness? No. I need to kill this thing. What is that? What's doing prayer effects here? What is this? What is this thing? Yeah, it's actually network. So it is a network outage. Maybe it's Vodafone, maybe it's actually my ISP being bad. But I do have some drop frames, but very few. So this is semi-strict. Do we notice a difference between... Yeah, a little bit. Right, so with no filters, it's quite a bit more random stuff. Does Rarity work? What do you mean does it work? I think it works too well. I think most people would agree that Rarity is not in great state. I think it's too good. Isn't the highest amount of damage taken in PvE2 general much lower in PvE1? I would probably agree to that, but I also don't really know that. It's not possible to filter by TM. I have answered it so much. Alright, so this is a cleared breach. Not the best clear, it's alright, right? It worked for us. So what we can do now is basically go through different filter layers, right? So this is the soft filter. You have a lot of stuff lying around, much of it not so good. Let's take a look at this moment, right? Then we get to regular, and we remove some of the worst offenders. Semi-strict. Semi-strict removes a little bit more. Then we get to strict. In this case, yeah, strict removes a few bad bases. Very strict, removing a bit more. Uber strict, and then uber plus strict. Does make sense to make gold smaller font. It already is smaller font, but we might reduce it even further. At least the small piles. I need a short dry break. I'll be back soon, guys. Alright, I'm back. I also think, guys, this is probably when I'm gonna cut the stream short. Had a fairly long day today since my first day back to work after vacation. Had a lot of things to go through, and I slept very little. Plus, the game is very lagging. Guys, don't make this whole... Guys, please don't make things political. Please calm down.
Fate is on my side.
Right, I do think I'm going to take a break from streaming today. Sorry to cut the stream a little bit shorter than expected. I might do some work offline at this point, but we've made good progress. We've fixed several underlying issues, and then we have designed the whole Strictness system. Yeah, I need to figure out where this is blue, but we'll get there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It's been fun. Looking forward to the next stream tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye.